Welcome to a new episode of Subcast.
Great to be here.
Today, we're taking a good look at something we deal with constantly here at Subsign. Brand responsibility on social media.
It's huge.
It's not just about, getting likes and shares. It's really about building and protecting your reputation.
Absolutely. Protecting it is key.
So we thought it would be really useful to talk about the flip side of social media success. The things brands absolutely need to steer clear of online.
The pitfalls.
Exactly. Consider this your sort of insider's guide to avoiding those social media landmines. Our goal is just to share some insights we've gained, hopefully help you safeguard your brand. Let's dive in.
Okay. It's a really timely discussion. Social media is this incredible amplifier, right?
Yeah, totally.
And while that's fantastic for reaching audiences, it also means that, and any misstep can just blow up super quickly.
Right.
From our perspective, like working with clients, we see that brand responsibility isn't just about the positive campaigns you launch. It's equally, maybe even more, about the potential disasters you manage to avoid.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
And one of the biggest areas where brands can really misjudge things is getting into political endorsements.
Okay, let's unpack that.
Yeah.
Partisan political endorsements.
Yeah.
It feels like today, especially, with global elections this year.
Yeah, 2024 is big.
A brand taking a specific political stance is almost guaranteed to ruffle some feathers, right?
Oh, absolutely. Guaranteed.
You're instantly splitting your audience.
Exactly. When you, plant your flag and really charge territory, you're basically creating an us versus them dynamic with your own customers.
Yeah, that's risky.
And what's interesting from a marketing angle is the long game. You might get a quick bump with one group, but alienating another potentially loyal group. That can have really lasting negative consequences.
Right.
Remember the Under Armour situation a few years back?
Vaguely, yeah.
With the CEO.
Yeah, exactly. The perceived political leaning of their CEO sparked, significant backlash.
And they had to do a lot of work, damage control to repair those consumer relationships.
So it's a strong reminder then.
Definitely. For most brands, staying neutral in the political arena, that tends to be the safest and most strategic approach.
It really highlights it's not just about explicit endorsements either. Even just the perception of being aligned can trigger stuff.
Precisely. Perception is reality online sometimes.
Okay, so shifting gears a bit. Something else we see, especially this time of year, it's June now, so Pride Month.
Right.
Lots of brands want to show support, which is great in principle. But there's this concept, rainbow washing, that seems really critical to understand.
Yeah, rainbow washing. We talk about this a lot with clients, especially leading up to June.
So what does it look like?
It's essentially when a brand kind of superficially adopts LGBTQ plus symbols, rainbows, themes in their marketing, but without any real substantive support behind it for the community itself. And what's fascinating, kind of from a consumer psychology view, is how fast people spot it when it feels hollow or, just performative.
And we've seen some pretty glaring examples, haven't we? I remember M&S, Marks & Spencer, a few years back with their LGBT sandwich.
Oh, yeah, the lettuce, guacamole, bacon, tomato one.
Right. And, maybe the intention was good somewhere in there, but it was widely seen as just, tokenistic. Didn't really connect to meaningful support.
Right. It's those kinds of surface-level things that often get the most negative feedback. If you think about broader marketing principles, consumers are just getting smarter.
Yeah, definitely.
They expect brands to genuinely align their values with their actions. So the M&S sandwich maybe meant well, just didn't show that real commitment.
And then there are other examples, right? Like AT&T.
Yeah, that's a different flavor of it.
Sure.
Where they might, put rainbow logos everywhere during Pride. But at the same time, they're found to be donating to politicians who have, anti-LGBTQ plus voting records.
Oof, that disconnect.
Exactly. That stark difference between the public image and the actual corporate actions, that can seriously wreck brand credibility. It makes you wonder, are these Pride Month campaigns really about supporting the community, or are they just, a marketing ploy?
That's such a key question for brands to ask themselves internally. It's got to be more than just changing your logo for 30 days.
Absolutely.
It's about what you're actually doing. And the list goes on, right? Listerine had that rainbow bottle, bring out the bold slogan.
Yeah, again, it felt a bit like tapping into the moment, but without any clear proof of actual contribution or commitment to LGBTQ plus causes.
Right. And Burger King, the Pride Whopper with the identical buns.
Yeah. That definitely got people talking, but mostly it came across as kind of a gimmick.
Like prioritizing buzz over actual advocacy.
Exactly. These situations just hammer home how important brand authenticity is. People want consistency, year-round commitment, not just during awareness months.
Otherwise, it just backfires.
Big time. Accusations of exploiting a movement for profit, not a good look.
Okay, so moving beyond specific events like Pride, another tricky area is humor. Brands using humor, especially when it touches on sensitive topics.
Oh, absolutely. Humor can be amazing for connecting with your audience. It really can.
Sure.
But when it's misapplied, when it lands wrong on a delicate subject, the fallout can be massive.
Right.
And what's interesting, like from a social listening perspective, is just how fast a joke can be taken the wrong way or cause real offense online.
Like lightning speed.
Yeah. The DiGiorno pizza example is kind of the classic case study here, isn't it?
The hashtag #WhyState hashtag.
Exactly. That hashtag was created for survivors of domestic violence. Very serious, very personal.
Right.
And DiGiorno used it to sell pizza. Just a huge, huge misjudgment.
Wow.
Led to massive condemnation. They had to issue a big public apology. It was bad.
That's a perfect example of why you have to understand the context.
Yeah.
The emotional weight behind trending topics.
Crucial. Absolutely crucial.
Otherwise, yeah, what seems like a lighthearted tweet turns into a major PR crisis.
Instantly.
Okay, so on the flip side of engaging, sometimes poorly, with trending stuff, what about just ignoring major current events altogether? Is that also a danger?
Yes, sometimes silence is definitely not golden. It can speak volumes, and usually not in a good way.
Oh, so?
Well, just continuing with your scheduled, business as usual content, or pushing purely promotional stuff when something major is happening in the world. It can make a brand seem completely out of touch, or worse, like they just don't care.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Tone deaf.
Totally tone deaf.
Yeah.
The situation with L'Oréal Paris during the Black Lives Matter movement is a really telling example here.
What happened there?
Well, they put out a statement, saying they stood in solidarity.
Yeah.
Which sounds good.
Right.
But it was immediately criticized because people remembered they had fired Monroe Bergdorf, a Black transgender model, a few years earlier, precisely for speaking out against racism.
Ah. So the past action contradicted the current statement.
Exactly. That inconsistency just revealed a perceived lack of genuine commitment. It highlighted how important it is for your message now to align with your track record.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Consumers expect brands to be aware
Right.
and responsive to the world.
They really do. It underscores that need for a consistent, authentic brand story.
Okay, so shifting focus again slightly.
Yeah.
What about the opinions that brands or people within brands share, especially when they're controversial opinions?
Well, that's another minefield. Brands need to tread very, very carefully here.
Particularly leadership figures.
Especially leadership, yeah. When high-profile people tied to a brand share divisive personal opinions, it can splash back significantly onto the entire company. The CrossFit CEO's tweets a while back about COVID-19 and social justice movements.
Yeah, I remember that blew up.
It really did. His personal views triggered huge public outcry. They lost key partnerships, like with Reebok, and it did significant damage to the CrossFit brand reputation overall. It really raises that tricky question for companies.
Which is?
Where do you draw the line between an individual's personal expression and the potential impact on the brand they represent?
It seems like the smartest play is usually just extreme caution, especially when things are politically or socially sensitive.
Generally, yes. Caution is advisable.
And it's not just what you say, but also how you respond. Maybe more importantly, how quickly and thoughtfully you respond to your audience, right?
Yeah.
Community management.
Oh, absolutely essential. Neglecting your community management, especially if you're facing criticism or during sensitive times, can just pour fuel on the fire.
Right.
Timely, thoughtful, empathetic responses are absolutely crucial. You need to show you're listening.
Any examples come to mind?
Well, think about United Airlines and how they initially handled that passenger incident a few years ago.
Oh, yeah, that was bad.
The incident itself was bad, but then it was made so much worse by their slow and, frankly, inadequate social media response.
Right, the initial statements weren't great.
No, and it just shows how poor communication can escalate a crisis really fast. What's interesting, kind of from a crisis comms view, is how social media has empowered consumers. They can share experiences instantly, hold brands accountable in real time. There's nowhere to hide.
Definitely. Okay, so another tactic we see.
Yeah.
Brands trying to jump on conversations or get visibility, sometimes they just overload with hashtags.
Yes, the hashtag abuse.
Sometimes it feels really opportunistic or even totally unrelated to the topic.
Exactly. Hashtags are meant to, categorize content, broaden reach maybe.
Sure.
But when they're used excessively, like a giant block of them or tacked onto trending topics they have nothing to do with, it just looks spammy. Or worse, disingenuous, like you're trying to hijack a conversation for clicks.
We already mentioned the DiGiorno fail.
Right. Prime example of hashtag misuse. But remember the Total Beauty tweet during the Oscars.
Vaguely. What was that?
They tweeted a picture thinking it was Oprah Winfrey, but it was actually Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and they used an Oscars hashtag. Just a total lack of attention to detail, lack of understanding context led to major embarrassment.
And damage, presumably.
And damage. It really shows you need to be strategic, thoughtful, and accurate with hashtags. Understand the conversation before you jump in.
Okay, now, thinking about the actual content itself that brands create, there's a big risk in using stereotypes or making broad generalizations, isn't there? Especially around sensitive stuff like pride or political issues.
This is so critical. Using stereotypes, even if you think it's harmless to represent any group, it can cause significant offense.
Yeah.
And you risk alienating a huge chunk of your audience. The H&M ad comes to mind.
The one with the hoodie.
Yeah, featuring a black child wearing a hoodie with that racially insensitive slogan, "Coolest monkey in the jungle."
Right, that caused a massive uproar.
Massive. Widespread condemnation, store protests, long-lasting damage to their reputation. It's a stark reminder that brands have to review their content thoroughly through a lens of inclusivity, cultural awareness, root out potential biases, harmful stereotypes before they go live.
It's a huge responsibility, being mindful and inclusive in everything you put out.
It really is.
Okay, finally. We've talked a lot about avoiding missteps, like saying the wrong thing or being insensitive. But what about just saying nothing? Is there a risk in being completely silent on important issues?
That's the really delicate balancing act, isn't it?
Seemed like it.
Because yes, while it's often smart to avoid unnecessary controversy, complete silence on really significant social issues, that can be interpreted badly too.
How so? Like indifference?
Indifference or even complicity. Especially by consumers who increasingly expect brands to align with their values. They want brands to take a stand on issues they care about.
So silence isn't always safe.
Not always. Look at Nike in the Colin Kaepernick situation. That's a fascinating case.
Right, the Believe in Something campaign.
Exactly. They made a very conscious decision to take a stand on racial equality. They absolutely knew it might alienate some customers. And it did.
Right.
But for many others, that authenticity, that willingness to engage with a really important, tough conversation, it actually built stronger, more loyal relationships with a huge part of their audience.
So sometimes taking a stand, even if risky, pays off if it's authentic.
It can if it's authentic and aligns with your brand's core values over time. Silence can sometimes be seen as taking the easy way out, or worse.
Okay, so to kind of wrap this all up, this deep dive into what brands should absolutely avoid on social media. It really boils down to being thoughtful.
Right. Thoughtful decision-making, yeah.
Authentic engagement, understanding the impact your online presence can have. So steering clear of partisan politics, being genuinely support, not just performative, like during Pride.
Right.
Being super careful with humor around serious topics, staying informed so you're not tone deaf.
Yeah, keeping an ear to the ground.
Actively managing your community, responding well. These are all crucial for keeping that brand reputation positive.
Absolutely crucial.
And while avoiding needless controversy is usually smart, you're saying complete silence on truly important issues isn't always the right move either.
Precisely. It's about finding that sweet spot. Genuine engagement, consistently showing your brand values through actions, not just words.
Right.
And always thinking carefully about the potential impact of what you say and do in this very public digital world.
Absolutely. Well said. And, if you out there are listening and looking for guidance on navigating these complex issues, and maybe you need support developing a really well-defined marketing strategy that helps position your business effectively, get in touch with us at Subsign. If you need a well-defined marketing strategy and you're looking for a complex team to help you position your business in an optimal way on the market, leave us a message.
We'd be happy to chat.
Definitely. Thanks for tuning in to this deep dive.